Pay attention to the road.
Look who the Alleghany Journal has found. 3 of the area's best known law enforcement individuals. And we've got a great topic for you today. It's called the Youth Day Rodeo. And Sheriff Hall, you and Chief Smith and Chris Fisher of the Alleghany County-Covington Sheriff's Office join us today. You guys have been promoting this cool concept for years now. And Lieutenant Fisher, tell the public what they can expect on Saturday, May 6th.
Well, I hope the public knows they can expect a good time for the kids to be able to come out, the youth in this area, to enjoy a time of free activities, free games, food, fellowship, just a good time to promote bicycle safety. And we hope that we see a lot of kids ages 4 to 14. And it's a big event for us. This is by far, I think Sheriff Hall and Chief Smith would agree, this is by far our biggest outreach that we do for the youth, especially, and maybe second biggest, maybe the national night outs and the drug takebacks for the prescription drugs. So this is a major undertaking for us all, but it's well worth it.
And Chief Smith, can you give the public a little bit of history about the Youth Day Rodeo? I know the Covington Police Department has been involved with it all these years.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, over 20 years ago, the bike rodeo was started by several different officers, one from the Covington Police Department, one from the state police, and I believe the sheriff's office was all involved. And they started it right here on the Main Street Park as just a way to do some sort of a program for the community. It wasn't popular in those days. It was more of a community policing or crime prevention tactic. And then since then, it's built and has grown to what it is today. So one of the biggest problems that we had when Lieutenant Fisher and I kind of took the reins on this, how long has it been? It's about at least 10 years. We wound up realizing that the Main Street Park was too small for the venue, and then we were able to move it over to the Jackson Street or the Jackson River Sports Center.
And Sheriff Hall, you've been involved in this effort all these years as well. How do you guys pull this up? We're talking about not only a cool 3-hour program at least, but you're also talking about tens of thousands of dollars when you consider, all the events, the food, and of course the bikes. How do you guys pull this off every year?
Well, with great community participation and donations from businesses and individuals in this area. And I guess I'm the old man here. I've been part of this bike rodeo ever since it ever happened. I didn't actually work it with those 3 officers that did that, weren't part of planning it or working it, but I did work it as a police officer at Covington. So I guess I've been at every one, but it takes about $20,000 to pull this off, to provide everything that we provide. And that's just a lot of business and community leaders and groups that provide those funds.
Lieutenant Fisher, I might add, no longer Sergeant Fisher. I'm going to get this right. Every year, you're part of the announcement team, and I mean, couple hundred kids show up. And it seems to me, you noted, it just doesn't have to be Covington, Clifton Forge, Iron Gate kids. You've seen some kids from even West Virginia and Hot Springs. So it is the point that, obviously it's for the kids, but it's not limited to just our single area here.
Oh gosh, no. In fact, we promote with Bath County, and there's a lot of, I just got off the phone with the Lori Hicks up at Bath Community Hospital. They just came through with a big donation for us. And I was down at one of the restaurants in Covington Saturday night, and there were some people I knew from Hot Springs area, and they were like, yeah, we're coming. And so that, all that stuff is really good. And no, we don't turn any children away. I mean, in fact, we always have kind of been like, we like to get these ideas out to other localities. So if there's someone here for a ball tournament and they're seeing what we're doing here in the city of Covington and our local law enforcement agencies and Parks and Recreation. That's great. And I just got a phone call last week from a lady in Roanoke, and they're trying to do it's just a community over there, but it's one community, and they were doing bike radio, and she called and asked us how we did it and how much it cost to put it on. And she said, "What's it cost? Maybe $1,500." And I was like, "No, ma'am, more like $22,500 now with the cost of everything." But we want people to see what we're doing, and this isn't about any of us. This is about us all coming together. We want people to look at what we're doing because it's that important. And honestly, anything we can do to help the kids and give kids a better path and keep them away from the dangers of drugs and alcohol, making bad decisions, whether it's here in Alleghany County or Bath or wherever. And a lot of these kids that live in other areas, I know Sheriff coaches ball, and I know Chris has been involved with activities with his girls and things. A lot of these kids are interconnected just because they don't live in the same county or go to the same school. They know each other through activities like baseball and dance and different things. Softball.
Well, and Chief Smith, your community policing concept and Sheriff Hall, the fact that you've got your deputies out all over the place, when you come together for an event like this, parents have got to feel good that you guys are out and about dealing with them and kids. And, I just can't imagine anything much more wholesome than Youth Day Rodeo. and Chief Smith, this is I don't know, I guess we're talking about 10, 20 years or more of this. What would you consider success? Is it 100 or 200? What is it, 300? What is there any kind of feel that you guys have for, man, this is really the biggest and the best ever?
For me, it's not necessarily about the amount of people that are there. It's the experience that the people get that while they're there. One of the main things, me personally, I'll never know when it's successful because we're trying to reach out to one kid. If I could just change one kid's mind and point them in the right direction, that's my ultimate goal with this whole entire event. Whatever the case may be, especially in reference with this, it's bike safety. So if they look and see and say, well, maybe I should put my helmet on today, and they have an accident, well, if that would be a success for me. Is that the kid was influenced to make the right decision to be safe.
Lieutenant Fisher, give us a feel for how the event starts, and what's the progress of things that happen during the day. For example, what happens in the beginning? Kids show up maybe a half an hour early is a good idea, or a little bit more to register.
Well, last year when we got to do it after 2 years with COVID, we all sat down and realized that we had worked ourselves so hard and we had to make some changes, and there was some good changes. So basically we're telling people to arrive about 9:00. There's no pre-registration needed. We encourage you not to bring a bicycle. Just come and get registered. Each age group is going to be given a ticket, and we'll kick off at 10:00. At 10:00, the age groups will be divided into, they'll go to stations where there will be a certain game. And when they hear a siren or a buzzer, they will rotate. And during that process, there's also going to be, I know the dancers are going to be there. And so that's more youth entertainment from the kids. And while they dance and things, and there'll be all the other activities there for people to go out and about too. And then I think, Kevin, I think it was last year was about 12:45. We started giving away the bicycles, and every child that didn't win a bicycle got not a $10 gift card that we've been doing in the past, but $20. And I know $10 doesn't buy a lot, and really 20, we upped it to 20, and that may not seem significant, but when you start talking about that's how much more money you have to raise, we don't want any child to feel like they were left out. And there's also going to be a duck pond there where you pick up a duck and you can get prizes. You can pick the prizes you want. We got all kinds of safety stuff, reflectors, sunglasses, even locks for bicycles. So that's the day. And of course the food and stuff, about 10:30 guys, they start brewing up the hot dogs there and putting them on the grill. And that's about the day. Hopefully we're done by about 1:00, 1:30 at the latest.
Sheriff, you've been involved with the Sheriff's Association of Virginia for, years and years and years. even being the president. I wonder, is there anything similar to this kind of event in nearby counties? We're not aware of it, but I'm just wondering if in talking to some of your associates, you're aware of anything similar.
There's no one to this scale. There's been some smaller ones that maybe give away 20, 25 bikes, but there's nowhere in the state of Virginia that offers all this to the youth during that day and raises that kind of money. We actually had some people from Virginia Beach Sheriff's Office, and you're talking about, the largest city that used to be Nansemond County in the state of Virginia, and they were talking to us a couple of years ago about how we pulled this off and what it would take, and wanted to model a program like this after us. So this is a one of a kind that was started by those three guys back in the day: Daryl Hicks, Barry Rose, and
Alan Dressler,
along with Trooper
Frank Figures.
And those guys got it going, and then now we're partnered with Sheriff Plecker in Bath and the Bath County Parks and Rec. So it's just a great event, and it's been modeled by a lot of different areas that want to know how you do this.
And Lieutenant Fisher, if I'm a business or just an interested individual, there's still time to make a donation, isn't there? And if so, how do they go about it?
You can contact the Sheriff's Office, 965-1770, extension 104. That takes you to our lids technician, Jill Peters. You can call my cell phone at 540-968-0651. I'm sure you can contact Chief Smith, Sheriff Hall. We'll come out to you. Sometimes it takes us a while to get there, and I guess it's a good thing. Sometimes people call us and we get there as quick as we can. But if you're out there and you want to donate to us, please do. It's a worthwhile cause, and thank you everybody from the bottom of our hearts that donate to make this possible. Because without you, there would not be a Youth Day Rodeo.
Exactly.
And a lot of other events in this community that these businesses donate for.
Well, this sounds really cool. And to sum it up, Saturday, May 6th, officially it starts at 10, but really you'd like to see people show up at 9 or so to help kick off the activities. And thanks to you guys and your agencies, we expect another wonderful event, just about as wholesome as you can get. Thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, Smitty.
Could we be any more soaked?
Watch this.
Hear the big splashers with Phonak Audeo Life Lumity, a waterproof hearing aid with smart speech technology. So no matter who is speaking, conversations shine with Lumity.